It's time to take a therapeutic dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast that explores the intersection of reality TV and therapy. Possible side effects may include entertainment, strong emotional reactions, and/or laughter. Here are your hosts, Ramona Ramirez and Margee McGee.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to A Therapeutic Dose, a prescription-strength reality TV podcast where we explore the intersection of TV and therapy. I am Margee McGee, and my co-host.
Hi, everyone. I am Ramona Ramirez.
And Ramona and I have been friends for like 23 years, and we've been in therapy even longer. And we both have various mental health challenges, and we've sought various kinds of help to manage those. And all along the way, we found that reality TV has been kind of an indispensable supplement for our recoveries of all kinds. And for that reason, we do not subscribe to the idea that reality TV is garbage, because for us, it's a sociology class. For us, it's a outside look, an outside perspective on our own family dynamics and our relationship dysfunctions. And for everybody, it can be, cautionary tales, giving us a look at what kind of monsters we have the potential to become if we do not tend to our mental health.
There, but for the grace of insert deity here. Yes.
Indeed. And we've both tried 10,000 different modalities of therapy. So I'll just list off a couple of mine so you know where I'm coming from. Of course, I've done talk therapy with a psychologist. I have a psychiatrist who prescribes meds. I have an astrologist. I go to many 12-step programs. I go to church. I've read every self-help book, including numerous attempts at getting through the artist's way. I've had an Akashic file reading to find out who I was in a past life. I've seen mediums, psychics, career coaches, writing coaches, ADHD coaches. I've taken sound baths. I had a panic attack in a sensory deprivation float tank. And I've been to countless weird spiritual retreats in Simi Valley, and I've done yoga with goats and yoga with puppies. And so every kind of professional or experimental therapy available, I am a willing participant.
You are. And I love that. Let's see. I probably walked into my first 12-step room for children of alcoholics when I was 12. And from there, 4 years later, I started talk therapy, which I have been going to on and off now for, I guess that would be close to 35 years. So that is over half my life. I too have been in various 12-step rooms. I personally do not necessarily go all the time. I do love to pop into an Al-Anon meeting from time to time, as funny how that will just pop up and try to ruin your life.
It's a recurring theme.
Recurring themes, right? Let's see. I also right now I have a therapist whom I adore. I have a psychiatrist whom I adore. I have a ketamine doctor, a ketamine physician, and I have a ketamine therapist, both of whom I adore. Let's see. I have a doctor for menopause. I have an OBGYN who specializes in menopause and perimenopause. And then I have my regular OBGYN, and then I have my regular PCP. My entire team, this is also including like my orthopedic specialists. Everyone knows about I am an open book with all of my caregivers. The point of hiding anything from any of them makes no sense to me, as my end game is to be someone who is truly happy and satisfied and full of compassion for myself and others, like as I close my eyes before bed and as I rise in the morning. And so why would me keeping anything from any of those people who are on my payroll to help me, why would I hold that back?
And it's a holistic issue. Like, I think it's ridiculous to separate mental health from physical injuries. Anytime I'm injured,
100%.
you can count on me being depressed. And
Absolutely.
menopause is on the horizon. And I don't know a single woman who's gone through that and everyone's been like, yeah, she's totally the same. It's like, no,
Yeah. I mean,
something happens. So
it's a reality for
yeah, for everybody, for women and
everybody.
for
I mean,
people who love them,
right,
anyone who's close to us.
right,
So
right. And
yeah.
if it's not if it's not in your if it's not in your reality right now, it could be. And like my friend Gabi always says, what's the alternative? Like when she hears people complaining about getting older, so what's the alternative? Well, good point. Very good point. Extremely good point. And the older I get, the more that can sink in. So yes, I have often sought out TV, reality or otherwise, as comfort ever since I was a child. I as someone who also has let's see, I just saw the super bill that my psychiatrist gave me for our little mini appointment we had the other day. And so I literally saw it in black and white, like major depressive disorder, PTSD, major anxiety disorder, and then what was the other one? What was the other one? I don't remember, but that was just for like my med management. So yes.
ADHD.
Oh yes, thank you. That was, oh my God, the
It was
irony.
like a comedy bit. Yeah, I love
Irony,
it.
the hilarity of forgetting to mention that one. Yes, the
Yeah.
ADHD. And I had that diagnosis after my child was born, when I looked at everybody and I was like, what happened to me? I was a fully functioning adult, capable. I don't know what happened to her. Where is she? Where'd she go? Where'd she go? And so, yes, that was the other one. And I actually, full disclosure, I had very recently tapered off of one of my antidepressants. And the timing, maybe it was coupled with the circumstances in my life, the net, I'm back on. I'm back on as of like 2 or 3 days ago, and I can already tell the difference. So who knows? Who knows? I do know that I saw leaps and bounds in my mental health when I started doing ketamine therapy, but that's a story we can get into when we have more time,
and I
as
love
people get to know us.
Yeah. And I love just addressing the notion that like mental health it's fluid. It's not a math problem. Like you don't
Completely.
get a diagnosis and then you're done for life.
Right.
You know, in 12-step rooms, they say to treat it like a gym, not an emergency room, which means like you
Oh,
go
yeah.
constantly. Like if you want to be fit physically, you go to the gym all the time. And if you want to be fit mentally, you engage in whatever kind of therapy applies to your situation and that you find helpful. So
Exactly.
yeah, it comes and goes, man.
But yes, reality TV has been there as comfort, as a mirror, obviously as entertainment, as a distraction, but in no way, shape, or form do I subscribe to the notion either that it is trash or without value. It is extremely valuable. And yeah, Margie, do you remember what your gateway reality show was? Bravo or otherwise?
I mean, I literally have been watching since the birth. I watched The Real World New York and could not get enough. And I've watched everything, literally everything. Anything that MTV has aired, Real World, Road Rules, The Challenge. I've watched Survivor. I've watched not Big Brother as much. I tried, but I got bored. The Bachelor, everything on Bravo. I dare you to name something I haven't watched consistently or tried at least once. Sister Wives. I mean, the true intersection for me of reality TV and therapy is that I found my therapist from watching a reality TV show, a terrible one called True Tory. And I don't even remember what channel it was on, probably TLC or something. And it followed her and her husband who just had an affair. And they were trying to get to the other side of that. And they were ridiculous, but they saw this couples therapist who was exquisite. And I was incredibly depressed at that moment in time. And I found everything this woman had to say so helpful. So I sought her out, and she's been my therapist ever since. And that was
I
like,
love the story so much. I love it.
Yeah. And I found my astrologist from listening to a podcast about Bravo shows. So, and I know I sound crazy saying I have an astrologist, but like, I don't care. I'm willing to try anything. And again, I went to see this astrologist at another time when the bottom fell out of my life unexpectedly, and I was just lost. So I think it can be, I am learning to reframe it as a source of pride. Asking for help is brave and scary and valuable and wonderful. So,
right.
yeah.
I agree. I think everyone needs therapy.
It's like how everyone needs a fucking hug.
Everyone needs therapy.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a hug. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know anyone that couldn't use, here's something too that someone once told me is that, we take our cars into the repair shop to get oil changes. Well, I mean, if you have a nice car, you get oil changes still, or you should. And it's the same thing. You take it to the mechanic for a tune-up. How about that? You don't have to get an oil change, whatever, if your car doesn't have oil. But it's so true. Like, once a quarter, I might get a haircut. Once a year, I might take my car to the mechanic. If my mind isn't like going to its mechanics, like, God help everybody, especially me. It's just not what I'm interested in.
No, and that's what we get to look at, like with the reality TV shows that we watch.
Yeah.
And we happen to be at peak Scandoval, which
Yes.
is a great moment in time to launch a podcast about mental health and reality TV.
Exactly.
Yikes.
So as you get to know us, you'll get to know more of our, respective specifics. We'll go into details about things. I'm always happy to share my experience with anyone who's interested. This is a safe space too, for sure. Like, I can tell Margee my deepest and darkest. She does have privy to my deepest and darkest. And I trust her implicitly with that. And I am so grateful to have a support team on my side that I actually don't have to pay, that chooses to hang out with me and listens. And I love you all for that. Thank you. But yeah, so yes, we are finding ourselves the morning after the very first Vanderpump Rules reunion episode. And what better time for us to kick off? Because it was everything I promised. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and I was telling you earlier that I, this morning, watched the Peacock unedited version, and there's very little else that's new in there, but every moment of that reunion was just a window into various mental health crises and mental health victories. And, you and I both share a deep loathing and intolerance of lying. And like, James Kennedy was my king in this episode because he couldn't stand it. Literally, he almost fought Tom Sandoval. He left a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Like, and I relate to that feeling of lying, it's so insulting. It requires me to play the fool because you're going to tell a lie and we all know it's true. So that means my role is to be like, they're okay. And like, I'm not Raquel. So stop it.
It was nuts. I just couldn't believe that. When they were showing the single shots, the shots interviews of Andy, the one-on-ones.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe. Oh yeah. And then I think when they showed us the clip of Tom off screen, but on mic talking to the producer, I believe that was completely, he knew he was mic'd. He knew that was part of his scheme. It was part of his plan.
Because he wanted to say like, oh, we've been hiding why we're having such a hard time as a couple. So let's really highlight that so that I can fuck Raquel and then decide on my timeline when I'm actually going to break up. And like, this
Exactly.
came out in the most satisfying way for someone like me, who is like just obsessed with justice. Like, to me, it's just like,
Really?
yeah. And I don't mean to, I don't wish harm on him, but I'm so glad it's getting national attention, because you get to look at what happens when you lie and when you try to manipulate all the players around you. Maybe sometimes it works for some people, but usually the truth arrives in everyone's lives, and it's a bad look. And the repercussions financially, emotionally, it's all terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh no. I too share that. Like, my need for justice and fairness is, what's the word? I'm sorry. ADHD brain, possible perimenopause brain, possible lack of sleep, brain adjusting to meds again. What's that word when, like, now I forgot what I was even asking about. My point is, I have an insatiable need for justice on any scale, justice and fairness. And it's probably my biggest trigger. And I know it's rooted in my childhood. I literally know it. So yes, when I see, and again, it's like, while I feel like that Grinch gif, where he, like, the smile just like evolves and like just curly cues and it's perfect. Like, I viscerally relate to that. I viscerally relate to the gifs of Maleficent throwing her head back and like laughing with her open mouth when justice is served. I would never send a death threat to a Bravo celebrity unless they were like, well, first of all, I don't send fucking DMs to people I don't really know like that. You know what I mean? But like, like someone like a Duggar, I would probably see like, okay, if you want to throw a death threat their way, like, cool, Is that terrible?
Yeah.
I'm terrible.
No,
I'm
just, I don't
terrible.
want people to misinterpret, like,
You're right.
you wouldn't.
I
Like,
wouldn't.
and
I'd understand if you did. But like, I
yes,
don't, like,
there
I
are
think
some
right.
behaviors that are so atrocious that
That's all I'm saying.
I wouldn't fight someone who did,
Right,
so
exactly.
it's
I'd be like, that's
understandable.
cool. But if you're sending death threats to Sandoval, like, you've got some issues that, go clean up your house before you throw a stone.
Well, and that's the thing, is like,
Yeah.
all of my reactions to reality TV point out things in myself that are as yet unresolved. And like, part of the reason I started and stay in therapy is what my therapist has called fair world syndrome,
Yes.
which is, and I'm obsessed with it. I have been since I was a kid, because I got lied to as a kid and I knew what the truth was and everyone was telling me I was wrong. And so in my adult life, I've tried to, insist that everyone tell the truth, and they don't, and that I'm a bad liar, so I don't have that option, and I'm fine with that. But I want to control everyone else and have them tell the truth. And, so my huge reaction to Scandoval is still, it's pointing out stuff that is still remains for me to work on that front.
Totally. Yes. I mean, yes. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I don't think what I'm about to say is like mind blowing at any reason whatsoever. I have not once thought that Tom Sandoval had any remorse other than, oh shit, now what must the world think of me? This isn't like he's sitting there going, obviously I can't know this 100% for true, like for true, for real, for true. But this is a man who is only concerned with how he is being perceived, and he can't control what people are thinking about him, and it's making him crazy.
Well, and if you're going to lie on that level, you better be smart. And I think what this reunion showed us is like, this is an idiot.
Yeah.
And I loved everyone on stage. Suddenly all these people seemed like adults to me. I've been watching the show since it started a decade ago, and they all just seemed like idiot drunk kids. And last night, these were people being like, shut up, you're making no sense. And like, and Tom Sandoval clearly had a few scripted lines like, I fart Mozart. And it's like, that has nothing to do with anything. It's not endearing. You're not funny. You're a nightmare. And, you know, watching an idiot try to maintain a false narrative is just so uncomfortable.
Right.
Because if he just said like, I fucked up so huge and it will take a lifetime for me to earn back everyone's trust, I would be like, oh yeah, good luck to you.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
instead, he's like, no, Kristen was mean to me. And everyone's like, that
was so bad.
Yeah.
Every time they flashed on Raquel, and this was also, I noticed this during the season finale. I am so curious about like what I perceive to be like just this detached, I don't know if I've ever seen someone so detached from something, like where it just feels like the gravity of the situation is just completely being lost on her. And it is like, it's very unsettling for me to see that. It's like, it's disturbing. I'm disturbed.
I thought the grossest moment was when Tom Schwartz was saying like, you know, I'm sorry I hurt Katie, but that kiss with Raquel was healing for me. And we cut to Raquel in the trailer and she like smiles like, aw, it's like, it was, that's not a superpower. Your kiss wreaked havoc across your friend group. I mean, what are you smiling about?
Just these people, like the fact that like anyone would think, like I look back to like my late teens, early 20s, when people would hook up with someone else in a friend group. I don't know. I can't, I know exactly where Katie is coming from. I know exactly why Schwartz moving on with, you know, Raquel as his gateway kiss or whatever, which also we don't know. I'm sure he was hooking up with other people, but like, it's like the people saying, oh, what's the big deal? They were broken up. Like, no, she's part of the friend group. It's a trust and safety issue. It's a boundary issue. It's
and
so gross.
That's what I love them saying. Like Lala of all people was like, she set a boundary, you violated it, and there are repercussions. That's all this is. You can whine and cry about not getting your way, but she said, I can't tolerate this. You did this. And so there are consequences. Why do you think that you can just be like, oh, sorry?
Oh man,
and
because
just
it's worked for him.
I know.
Worked for him. He's gotten away with it, honestly, I think until, I mean, I think we've all seen like little snippets of their, you know, their relationship when they were together about his behavior. You know, when people don't necessarily like raise their voices or speak or text in ways that, you know, Katie has in the past been combative, whereas Schwartz has been like the, oh, shucks, oh, gosh. And it's worked for him. And it's
he relied on that relationship dynamic to hide what a piece of shit he is.
I want to just say, I will go on the record and say, like, I completely understand all of the rage that we saw from Katie over the years.
Suddenly,
and I believe that he was a monster. I believe he was a monster. I believe he was a mentally abusive monster.
Yeah, they brought out the worst in each other, no doubt. Like nobody is, you know, redeemable in this cast. That's the point of a reality TV cast. But in this moment in time, it was really interesting to me to see Lisa, Tom, and Tom just sitting there on the wrong side of history. Lisa especially was just like, and I love how hard the cast came at her. She owns Tom and Tom. Money-wise, she owns them. The rest of them don't work at SUR anymore. They don't need her. So Ariana was like, yeah, we're not going to be friends. And Lisa was like, oh, but I've always supported you. It's like, yeah, but I'm an adult now and I'm not going to do this. And when James just yelled at her, like, you're defending Sandoval too much, I was like, yes.
I know.
They all just spoke up. And this is the first time in a decade that people haven't just been reverent to Lisa Vanderpump. Finally, everyone's like, it's so clear that she is on the wrong side of this, that it's intolerable.
Her misogyny was in spotlight last night. Her misogyny was illuminating to see it. She is a misogynist. She will coddle problematic men at the cost of the women in her life. We've seen it. I saw it. It's gross. I find it abhorrent.
100%. And I'm so glad that she was not given a free pass last night. I'm so glad that everybody's emotions were so hot that they couldn't couch it in anything pleasant. They were just like, you're saying the wrong thing. And I think a few times people were literally saying, shut up. And like, they're right, because they're 40 now. Like, come on, Lisa, you can't keep talking to them like they're 20-year-old cokeheads who just got a job at your hostess stand. They have children. They've been through marriages and divorces and lived life now. And I just don't, what Tom Sandoval did is indefensible. So why waste your time saying like, oh, people cheat and oh, that's too bad. And
it was gross. It was gross.
Really gross.
Let's see. I wrote down at some point last night, Tom was really giving Carl Lentz, from Hillsong, that with his tears, and he just is, it just so wildly contrived. Like, I think that he practiced everything he was going to say in the mirror. And it was just embarrassing and gross. It was just, it was gross. I think I told you this last week, like during the reunion and last night, just like the more Schwartz and Sandoval opened their mouth, like the more my vagina just like tried so hard to like just self-seal, and just my body was like curling up on the chair last night when I was watching it. I was like, oh, they're so gross. They're just so gross.
They're awful. But I loved that the second Tom Sandoval started to speak, everyone was like, James Kennedy, again, just took control of that stage and was like, do not cry, get a hold of yourself, man. Ooh, crocodile tears, and like just laid it all out. Like he mocked him, he, called it out for what it really was. And then, he threw a couple insults, and look who stopped crying. All of a sudden, Sandoval was able to collect himself.
100%.
Also, Hillsong, real quick, there's a new documentary on FX. Have you seen it?
We just started watching a couple nights ago.
So good.
It's so good.
We'll circle back, because
we will for sure circle back.
Another moment of like
100%. And
justice of a sociopath.
That is another thing. And this is another sidebar where we can go on to like why reality TV is not trash. I get that the same appeal of documentaries, that inside look, that if we are to believe, if they're showing us like truth, if it's the nonfiction of the film medium, it's like, yes, we all go in, especially now, like the older, like the more we watch Bravo, the more we know that there are producers and there are storylines and all of that. But like, I think we can all agree that in the very beginning, when they were behind the gates of, Coto de Caso or whatever, it was just, we were watching footage of people in Orange County. We were watching a documentary.
And people,
So
people who don't watch say like, oh, it's all scripted. It's like, yes, until it's not. Until the FBI shows up to arrest Jen Shah, until Teresa Giudice goes to jail and her husband gets deported, until Tom Sandoval, his mutual masturbation FaceTime becomes CNN headline news. Yes, it's scripted but that's what our real lives are that. Everyone presents and tries to, put a certain image for themselves out in the world, in person and in social media. And every now and then you get cut off at the knees because life just comes at you too fast. So, we're all a reality TV show. Obviously, these are exaggerated versions of human beings and they're cast to be that, but like, it's not all scripted. Scandoval is unscripted on every level. And I love that is what has gotten people's attention.
Right. Completely. where was I going before that? The documentary, Carl Lentz.
That Tom's crying, his fake
yeah.
crying.
I wrote down too that he's Patrick Bateman. He's Patrick Bateman from American Psycho.
Oh my God.
I really feel like
he's too dumb.
I think that he is he's just so contrived. He's just, yeah, I think that he's got some Patrick Bateman in him. Yeah, attempting to rationalize his cheating is a knee jerk. Yeah, he rationalized his cheating on Kristen last night for 2 seconds until they
were like, that was a decade ago when you lived in a shithole, and
exactly.
It's not relevant. You bought property with this woman.
Yep.
She was freezing her eggs because you wanted a baby. Like, get it?
Totally.
Where are you? You are not in reality,
and
sir.
Then rationalizes cheating on Ariana, which we've all seen, in the last couple of months.
He keeps trying. He keeps trying. He cannot read the room. It's like nobody is buying a word you're saying. Like, and you're not charismatic enough to have us go like, I wonder if he is telling the truth. He's not.
No. At one point, Schwartz started talking about the end of his and Katie's marriage, saying that this is what I took away from it, that she wasn't there, or she wasn't like supportive or empathetic, since he started opening Tom Tom and then Schwartz and Sandy's. And I thought about that, and the first thing I thought of is that, like, oh no, Sandoval isn't Patrick Bateman. Schwartz is Patrick Bateman. Schwartz is Patrick Bateman.
The two of them combined could make
you're right.
Patrick Bateman was slick and smart, but maybe if you put them two together, we'll get a half Pat Bate.
I think that if Schwartz had been a good partner, a reliable, soft, trustworthy, empathetic, loving place for Katie to land all those times in all those years, I don't have any doubt that she would have been able to weather the opening of two bars and whatever other bullshit was coming up. I just don't believe that Schwartz was a good enough partner to Katie.
And to anyone. I mean, he's blaming everyone for that delayed opening. It's Sandoval's fault for being out with the band. It's Katie's fault for being too demanding. And it grossed me out when Katie said, he prioritized everything over me. And Schwartz interrupted and go like, out of necessity, but you can talk. Go ahead. It's like, no, she can't talk because you just interrupted her. So, that is its own form of, like, I know gaslighting is an overused term, but it's like you literally interrupted her and then ended your sentence with, but you go ahead and talk. So what you just did there is nonsense.
And whenever he did
contradictory.
He did it with a lot of venom. He did it. There's nothing like neutral or like, wait, actually, that's not quite correct. It was like his little barbs, again, they're in a soft lowered tone.
He called her a troll.
But yeah, like he goes from like, oh, I want to be Katie's friend. I love Katie. I'm so sad, to like, making fun of her. And it's like, ooh, yeah, you're emotionally abusive and gross.
Yeah. I mean, I feel damaged after watching him.
I do too. I do too.
I'm
like, oh my God. And I think that both of those men are the kind of men who will not be able to find relationships with women who are either are sure of themselves and know themselves. They're probably, I mean, God help anyone who wants to date those two men after. I find that the thought of that just to be disgusting.
Like, unless they get help, unless they commit themselves to significant mental health work. But you've said it before that, one or both of them are likely constitutionally incapable of telling the truth.
Yes. And here's the thing,
and that's
you guys,
a limiting factor.
Listen, I know it is so tempting to label people, especially in this cast, as a narcissist or as
sociopath, pathological liar.
Exactly, pathological liar. Exactly.
Take your pick.
Exactly. We are not going to be diagnosing anybody on this show.
We are not qualified.
We are not licensed professionals.
No.
We are not qualified. We might have our suspicions we might say something like, that to me seems like narcissistic behavior, because when I was around a narcissist at this time in my life, yada, 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 that's what they would do. Okay. I am not going to armchair diagnose anybody. But I will call out problematic behavior, toxic behavior. And yes, these people, these men, whatever, but Mandy was right. Every single person on that stage last night, on that soundstage last night, had cheated except for Katie Maloney.
Yeah, it just is, in this moment, the spotlight is on Tom Sandoval. So
Right.
I even thought like,
Right.
yeah, I understand that, Andy, but like in this moment, something like really egregious is very current. So I
Yeah.
guess we can talk about Ariana kissing Sandoval in the pool at the Golden Nugget, but it seems slightly less charged than Tom Sandoval
Right.
fucking her best friend in
Right.
their bed.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Like,
Right.
it's not just messiness. It's like you said, it's like abuse. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, it feels criminal to me. I know it's not, but it's just like so aggressively awful on every level. And it's not even just the cheating and fucking around. It's the investment in the cover up. It's the levels of lies Sandoval tried to arrange. Schwartz will do this. Raquel will do this. Like, he was trying to move his chess pieces, and, you know, thank God the universe had other plans than to let him follow through with his fucking diabolical, just like inhumane, unconscionable plan
Right.
to get away with fucking Raquel.
I know.
Blech.
God, I mean, the lack of humility, the utter lack of humility, that is so, that's one of my least favorite traits in another person, is a lack of humility.
Yeah,
I mean,
and Ariana said it. She said, you know, infidelity is not a reason to cheat. It does not excuse cheating, or not infidelity, sorry. A lack of intimacy or problems in the intimate part of your relationship does not license you to cheat with someone. And she said, you either go to couples therapy or you break up. And to me, like, that is where these shows are a teaching tool in therapy for me.
Right.
Because it's like, that's right. And I hope everyone can get a look at Tom Sandoval is the cautionary tale of like, if you don't do the adult thing and either go to couples therapy or break up, the end result is some variation of what he's going through right now. It just is.
Exactly. I finally remembered what, excuse me, what you had touched on earlier, the constitutionally incapable part. So in AA, they use this book called The Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. You can often hear it called just The Big Book. And a lot of times in various 12-step rooms that are based on the 12 steps of AA, they will read, that's part of the preamble, correct?
So.
That the only desire for membership in AA is a desire to get sober, and anyone can get sober from whatever affliction they are dealing with, unless you are constitutionally incapable of being honest with yourself and others.
That might be like the 4th step or the 9th step or something. We can look it up, but whatever. It's all of a piece.
Right. And so I believe that Sandoval and possibly Schwartz are two people, TBD on Schwartz, but I think that Sandoval is constitutionally incapable of being honest with himself.
He's shown no indication that
indication.
And Schwartz, at least, I mean, it's really ugly the way he's doing it, but Schwartz at least is starting to tell the truth. Like, he did not follow Sandoval's script. He said that they started, you know, Sandoval revealed that he and Raquel were fucking in August, and Sandoval was like, August.
Oh my God.
And it's like, yeah,
wild.
He's telling the truth. He's starting to try to tell the truth. And it's a really ugly way he's going about it. But at least there's some understanding in him that lying is futile and damaging to yourself and everyone else. The truth is, you know, as my mom always says, the easiest story to remember is the truth. So just tell the truth.
It's true. Yeah. Oh my God.
He said that since we were kids. And it's so true. Anytime I tried to lie, you know, when I was like out with friends, or I went to Vegas instead of going to school, like, I would always get caught in my lie. So I learned at a young enough age that, like, yeah, you eventually will get caught in your web of stupid lies, you'll lose track. And you could have just started with, I went to Vegas instead of high school today. You know, it can
I went
just,
to Vegas instead of
yes,
high school.
I did. You know, I did. What are you going to do?
I never went to Vegas instead of high school.
I mean, I was senior year, second semester, senior year. I was sick of high school and they were sick of me. You know, I was going to graduate. That's all we all wanted. So I was like, let's go to Vegas.
Yeah, and I just wish I could do high school over again, and I would just not take it as seriously. I really should have skipped a lot more school and gone to the beach a lot more.
I mean, it depends on who you are. I try to impress upon my niece and nephews that like high school at the end of the day is basically pass fail. You
Right.
know, unless you have like a real lust to go to Harvard or whatever. But even then, my sister's a goddamn genius and she got rejected from Ivy League schools. Like
Yeah.
there's other elements at play.
Yes.
So, you know, apply yourself where you're moved to and like, I don't know, this is terrible advice, and go to Vegas your second semester of your senior year. That's bad advice, but like, I don't regret it. And it wasn't a big lie. And it, you know, I learned a very valuable lesson. You know, the easiest story to remember is the truth.
Easiest, that's 100% true. That's 100% true.
Thank you, Mom.
I was sad we didn't get to watch What Happens Live last night.
Yeah.
To my knowledge.
No, I was confused.
I was too. Do you know if do they have union writers on that show? Or are they needing to abide by? Yeah, that's what I figured.
No, I don't think so. I don't think like the shady boot section is written by a Writers Guild member. I guess I should tell people that I am a TV comedy writer, a member of the Writers Guild. And so we are on strike at the moment, which means the majority of my job responsibilities at this moment in time is walking in a tight circle in front of studios for 4 to 6 hours a day, which is nightmarish, but it will result in something important. I believe that. And in the meantime, it gives me all this extra time to watch more and more reality shows. Like I watched Selling Sunset. I watched the Hillsong documentary. Like the amount of time I'm able to invest in my TV right now is exquisite. It's great.
Do you have, before we talk about what else we're watching this week, do you have anything else on the reunion last night?
I think I've raged enough, and I think I'm grateful that we have 2 to 3 more weeks of getting to go in on these people. You know?
Yeah. I'm curious to see what the big reveal is going to be. The thing that Andy alluded to with Ariana on the night when she was on Watch What Happens Live, and I think what some of the cast have said on blogs, you know, that like June 7th is the last reunion, is part 3. Is that June 7, 8, 9? Yes, it is. And they're saying that, you know, Andy said it's something that will, like, you know, it's going to change everyone's lives. And I know we're all speculating, and there were all the rumors that were on Reddit and various blogs that it was about Raquel being pregnant. I don't know.
No,
people get pregnant all the time, like literally right now. Someone's pregnant and someone just got pregnant and someone just got pregnant. I don't know. I wonder. I have yeah. We can talk about that closer to the reunion. But what else are you watching what else did you watch this week?
Wait, the last thing I'm going to say, because it just occurred to me, is that I am so hardcore team Ariana that in those one-on-one interviews, her outfit was wild. It was suntan pantyhose and like a swoosh of tinfoil. And I was still like, yes, I love everything about you, too. Which is, again, another lovely like therapy lesson of like, it doesn't matter what you wear. It doesn't matter what you look like. Like when you're a good person, genuinely trying to do decent things, you just are beloved no matter what ice skating costume you chose to wear to your one-on-one interview. She looks amazing, by the way. I would give anything to whatever. She wore it great dress, but I was taken aback for a moment. I was like, what are we doing? Because her neck looked like it had wrinkles like mine. But it was just bunched up pantyhose.
Oh, you're crazy. But yes.
No, but I just mean like she's a very young lady, and that pantyhose moment was, I don't know. It made me giggle and it made me adore her all the more. So that's my closing statement on Scandoval for the time being.
I really wanted to see Katie's dress more when she was wearing, I really wanted to see it more.
Yeah.
I liked her dress. I liked Ariana's dress. Sheena's dress was cute. I thought LVP's outfit was, I just kept focusing on like, I'm like, those appliques are gonna snag things. And then I just kept looking like, I'm like, and the earrings aren't the same shape. And I was just focusing on the other things that
Yes, she was just a gaudy chandelier of a
I did not like
woman.
that. I don't like her.
It was so me neither. And that's another thing is like I wouldn't have even noticed her fucking sleeves in past reunions, but I am furious with her. And so suddenly I'm like, and you've made a disgusting wardrobe choice. Like
Yeah.
you're an awful person,
Yeah. I really,
physically,
yeah.
emotionally, and spiritually abhorrent.
I think I have to agree. I know she's very revered, but I don't think she's a nice lady.
No, and yeah, she's being revealed for who she really is in this moment in time. And she's a control freak who buys men, buys weak men to under the guise of taking care of them and supporting them. But all she's doing is, you know, buying loyalty from morons, allegedly.
Agreed. What else you watching this week?
Um, like I said, I think Selling Sunset and Hillsong are the ones that I remember. If there were others, I watched like Teresa's Wedding on Real Housewives of New Jersey. You would have hated it. It's everything atrocious about that
Yeah.
misogynistic husband-wife dynamic. But yeah, the ones that stuck with me were Selling Sunset because their outfits were like Nickelodeon colors. And it's such cotton candy delight for me. And then Hillsong was the opposite. It was just like really, and I wasn't unaware of everything that happened, but I was shocked when the reveal at the end of the first episode. I was like, oh my God.
God, I don't even remember now.
Oh, they interviewed him.
Oh yeah.
Spoiler
yeah.
alert. But yeah, I didn't see
Yeah.
that coming at all. I was like,
Yeah.
he's talking. Wild.
Yeah. Yeah. That show it's really good. I really love FX programming. I really
Yeah,
do. I
me
really
too.
do. Let's see. Yes, we watched one episode of the Hillsong. I think there's 4 total, or is it?
there?
I think so. Is it just? I thought there were 4. I'm not sure.
First one and it started rolling into the second one, but I
Yeah.
like had to put myself down.
I know,
So
me
I have not
too.
watched the second one
Me
yet.
too. I've been doing a Succession rewatch in preparation for this Sunday's season series finale. And so I am like balls deep in season 2 of Succession, and lot to unpack there. But yes, so we have been watching The Last Dance on Netflix. I didn't watch it when it first came out. There's sometimes I have this block when things come out and they're super, super popular that I'm just like, I can't. I didn't watch Game of Thrones when it first came out. I didn't watch Succession when it first came out. Didn't watch The Last Dance. Tiger King, I think we started like after, like maybe a month or 2 after people started freaking out about it. I same thing with like every subsequent season after season 1 of Love is Blind. But I was so like coked up on the Lakers being in the Western Conference playoffs, and started watching that a couple weeks ago, and it's riveting.
It's so great. And like I'm so old that
documentary.
I went to school at the University of Michigan at like in the height of that Bulls, legacy, and whatever. I just have vivid memories of pulling a TV out onto a porch to watch the games with people. And then to have this, I was just like, an idiot college kid drinking with friends, and to see all of the drama that was going on behind the scenes, it was fascinating.
Wow.
And athletes are such miraculous creatures to me, because some of them are narcissists, but like, could they do what they do if they weren't? I mean, that's where Tom Sandoval loses, because it's like the most extras is a joke. Your restaurant, people go there as a joke. I went there last week and it was disgusting.
Which one did you go to? Tom or Tom and Sandy, or Schwartz
and Sandy's?
Did okay.
Yes, with some other Vanderpump Rules friends. And it was atrocious. The decor, one of my friends described it as looking like a cruise ship, and they're not wrong.
Okay.
It is so dark in that restaurant and the plates are black. So they're hiding something about their food. Everything tasted like it was all fried in the same oil. Why did I start on this? I'll let that go. Anyways.
Oh yeah. I don't
I don't
know. I don't
know.
remember when one ADHD leads another.
I know The
yeah,
Last Dance
yeah.
was part of it at some point, and then it became about fried food. So, like, God bless, I have lost the thread. I don't fucking know. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, we started talking about Last Dance, but then why did we go towards?
I don't
anyway?
know. Don't ask. There's no train to follow on that thought.
Have you seen the ABC documentary on Hulu about Randall?
Not yet.
Did
Is
you
it
watch
good?
that?
I
I did.
will.
I did.
Okay.
I did. We watched it this week, and I don't remember if it came out, how long ago it came out, but I'm is it okay? I don't know if this is like a spoiler, but so do you want me, is it okay if I tell you one thing about
Yeah. I
Randall's
mean, I
origin
read
story?
the LA Times article,
Yeah,
and
me
now I just
too.
want to see the people who offered their stories to that article, like
I
tell it in their
love
own
Amy
voice.
Kaufman. She works for the LA Times. She's the entertainment investigative reporter, and she's written a book about the Bachelor franchise. I will read anything that Amy Kaufman writes. I'm a huge fan of hers. The young people, I'm a stan. I'm an Amy Kaufman stan, but I am. I love Amy Kaufman. And that's another thing I want to say. I guess I could Google it right now. The people that the reporters at the LA Times that wrote the exposés on Tom Girardi and Erica Girardi, Pulitzer Prize winning reporters. Okay. Reality TV is not trash.
No, it's
Not
an
trash.
education, man. It is an education.
Not trash. So Randall. So I watched Entourage when it was first airing on HBO, and then my sister and I actually went to like the film version. Oh my God. We were the only people in the theater, if that tells you anything. I look back on that choice and I'm like, I can't believe I did this.
Oh, it was of its time.
It was of its time. Which doesn't make it okay, but it was of its time. I wonder if it would get made today. I don't think it would.
No.
I don't think it would.
There's no story, and it's just it's what reality TV is now. It's just like
Totally.
hot guys fucking random women. That's it.
So
and everyone's saying Medellin
oh my God,
every 3 lines.
So, Turtle was probably my favorite. Randall Emmett was Mark Wahlberg's assistant. And I don't know, in the show, they say, like rumor has it that the Turtle character is based on Randall. Now I need someone to tell me that this is absolutely true, or even partially, because I was all,
I mean, like casting wise, there is like a similar look going on.
Because Turtle was utterly charming and amazing and adorable. Okay, not utterly, but like,
of the group, he seemed like the
right.
human being of the crew.
But like, ew, don't ruin Turtle. Whatever. That show, they're all gross.
I didn't know Randall Emmett was Mark Wahlberg's assistant.
He was his assistant.
Weird. This town is weird. Yeah, I gotta watch that.
Yeah. So I mean, I can't remember. I can't remember if there were new revelations, because I don't remember. I remember reading the article. I don't remember what the details of the article were, other than the money and the abuse. What?
Cocaine from lockers and like racial insensitivity at best, but it sounds darker than that. And yeah, I want to hear their stories.
I know that like, when I was in between jobs, I worked for someone in West Hollywood as an assistant, and he was definitely abusive. Like, long story short, my immune system just like started to fucking shut down, and I would get sick for 6 weeks at a time, like 6 weeks of antibiotics at a time, like could not get out of bed. And my immune system never bounced back from that. And it was because of the stress and the anxiety. Anyone who works for someone who yells and swears and throws things and expects you to pay out of your own pocket for shit when they are the ones that make all the money. And then, like, thankfully mine paid me back, and he wasn't as bad as Randall. But I really felt for those kids that were trying to like go to Hollywood and start their way from the bottom to the top. And they fell into working for people like that. And I just like,
they're preyed upon. Like Randall looks for people who are like new to the city. And it's like how Scientology finds people. It's like, are you a little bit lost in your
Right.
life as a 20-year-old? Like everyone is. Like, come into this and hold these cans and we'll take all of your money and tell you that we know how life works. Nobody knows how life works. If somebody did, there'd be a manual and we'd all do great.
it was
There's
so
no
awful.
answer. Yeah.
Jesus. I mean, I just really, he's so gross. He's so gross.
He's so, yeah. And again, it's another thing of like knowing about who he is makes him more disgusting to look at. Now all I see is like a drapey chin and like a grimace body.
Yeah.
Whereas before I was like, well, that's Lala's kid's father, I guess. So maybe there's something good. There's nothing good. He sucks.
Nothing good. Nothing good. Yeah.
Well, that's our time. We're going to try and do these episodes within the time frame of a therapy session, which is, 50 to 60 minutes. So we've hit the end of our session time. And thank you everybody for joining us for our very first therapeutic dose.
We're so excited, you guys. We're so excited. Like people have asked me over the years, like, what would your dream job be? And I'm like, talk shit with my friends all day long. That would literally be my dream job. And so thank you for joining us to listen to us talk shit. And again, do it in a, I guess judgment, but also with compassion behind it as like,
it's part of mental health care. Venting is part of mental health care.
True.
I would edit everything I said if I was to say it to any of these people's faces, but I'm glad that this is a platform where we can say it to each other. And if other people tune in, that would be lovely.
Yeah.
And if not, I feel better after this hour. So,
and we are not licensed professionals. We are advocates of licensed professionals.
100%.
We encourage everyone to seek out a health team, body, mind, soul that fits your needs, who has integrity and who cares about you as a person. They should be your professionals, not us.
No, we have lots of experience in therapy, but neither one of us has been trained. So everything that you've heard here is opinion, not professional, just an uninformed opinion, not a professional opinion. Uninformed.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever.
I do. I know.
I'm not going to get caught up in this. Thank you all for joining us for our first episode of Therapeutic Dose.
Thank you so much.
And we will see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week when we offer our thoughts on the second installment of the Vanderpump Rules season 10 reunion specials.
Can't wait.
All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everyone.
Ramona and Margee are obviously not doctors and do not provide medical advice. Their content is intended to be used for entertainment purposes only. It is not intended to be, should not be interpreted as, or used as a substitute for medical advice or a diagnosis of any health or fitness problem, condition, or disease, nor a recommendation for a specific test, doctor, care provider, procedure, treatment plan, product, or course of action.
My mom isn't a doctor.